So welcome back to Decoy Noise in another episode of Am I the Antagonist in Am I the Antagonist for saying that my money is mine and I don't want to combine finances? So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing down below, and also in the comments let me know what subscriber number you are. As of recording this video, I think I'm at 828 subscribers, so once I hit 1,000, we're no longer going to be able to see who is which subscriber. So if you haven't done it yet, please do it so below, but let's just get into the video because I think this is going to be controversial to say the least. So OP writes, so long story short, I've been dating my girlfriend for the north of 2 years and we had moved in a couple months ago. I'm in my early 30s and she's in her late 20s. We both work and have no plans for any children in the near future. I like investing and trading. I've traded and invested since I started my first job out of the college, and thanks to the huge bull market we have had in the last 10 years, I've made a killing and I'm comfortable in my finances. Not so much in the 7 figures yet, but enough to comfortably pay my rent. Probably people will ask why I don't have a house. It's because I think there are better and more liquid investments that I could go for with that money I have, so I prefer to pay rent and do whatever I want or quit my job for 4 to 5 years without changing my lifestyle one bit. This has not been the issue, well, until lately. I lost around $120,000 since the beginning of this year, and like the idiot that I am, I shared this with my girlfriend so she could comfort me. Since then, she's been berating me about how financially irresponsible I am and how can I lose X years of salary within a couple of months, that I need to be careful with our money, etc. And one day after she again berated me, I snapped and told her my money is effing my money. And I don't want to combine my finances with her, and she doesn't get to berate me financially, especially when she doesn't get nearly enough savings to begin with. Since then, we are not on great terms, as we have been, and I've been an antagonist by her friends. I've been called an antagonist by her friends. There you go. I don't think I'm in the wrong to tell her off after she berated me instead of supporting me when I needed it. So, am I the antagonist? So we're going to take this to Decoy Court right now, where I'm going to give my probably incorrect but knee-jerk reactions to this situation before we get into the top comments and the more fun, controversial comments. But I'm just going to start this off by saying that, yes, you're a team. Yes, you're in a relationship. You're together and everything. But if they hadn't combined their finances before, why would that be an issue for him to make the money that she didn't even know that he had, it seems like? And also the idea that she's saying, how can you lose $120,000 in this time of money, in this short period of time? It's like they don't understand the market, that we experienced something that we've never seen before in I don't know how many years. So it's like a situation where it's like, yes, he lost $120,000, but I'm guessing through his investments, he never would have had anywhere near that much amount of money to lose without the market. Was it irresponsible and bad? Possibly, but it's a situation where it's just like, live by the sword, die by the sword, where he made that money. If he lost it, he lost it. And just the idea that he turned around and said, hey, look, I would like you to comfort me. Oh my God, how much money did I lose? And he's just kind of, he's upset and he needs her there. And for her to turn around, I'm like, oh my God, we had $120,000 and you lost it of our money, and it's becoming like a thing that they both have. Sad to say, it's like, I kind of don't blame him for saying that, hey, look, I don't want to share finances. If this is how you're going to react to me losing, I don't want you to react like that's a part of the game. Like investing, you win, you lose, you win, you lose, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. It's not like, working a regular job or a salary where once you make the money, it's guaranteed. It's like once he had that $120K, he had to take that money and reinvest it into other things. He can't just let it sit there and just be $120K for forever, because that's just the nature of how he made his money. So it's like, is he the antagonist? I'm going to go ahead and say no, but I'm sure in the replies of the Decoy voice, you guys are going to berate me too. So let me know how I'm an antagonist, because I'm open to everything. I'm open to hear every facet of the story. So let me know if you think I'm wrong, if I'm right. But let's get to some top comments right now, because let's see what everybody else is thinking. So the top comment is, everyone sucks here. She shouldn't be berating you. But if you're planning a future with someone and they've F up to the tune of $120,000, it's pretty reasonable to be a bit concerned on how they handle their finances. If you haven't discussed whether you eventually share finances, it's pretty out of the blue to go nuclear on that topic. And that's what I kind of feel like. It's one of those situations where it's like, does she know how much money he has overall? Is this like, did it ruin him? Was that all $120K, or was that just a small portion of his income or whatever? And if it's in investments, could this potentially be a situation where he has, I don't know, $1 million Apple stock, now it's only worth $120,000. Well, that doesn't make sense. If he has $500,000 of Apple stock and it went down to $320,000 or $380,000 of Apple stock, maybe that's just going to balloon up again later on when everything bounces back. So it's a situation where it's like he might have lost the value, but that'll bounce back eventually. Like the economy will be strong at some point in time. So maybe nobody's really fully grasping the gravity of the situation because we don't have all the rest of the information. So maybe she's blown up over nothing, or if maybe he's not giving us information saying, hey, look, I had $120,000, I'm broke now, and which would be cause for concern on her. And so I'm trying to get, give the girlfriend her fair shake. Maybe he ruined himself. Maybe they're both ruined financially. Maybe he can't pay his rent anymore and he's going to her to console him. So maybe that's the reason why she's mad. But I mean, everybody kind of sucks here in the sense that someone messed up to the tune of 120K. If he's like, he says he's not a millionaire yet, but if he has like, $800,000 of net worth, 120K is just cost of doing business, especially in this economic climate. So let's kind of read on. The reply is, yeah, so if he's quoting the idea that he effed up to the tune of 120K. So the reply is, to be fair, we don't actually know that he effed up. It's normal for the market to be down sometimes, and right now everyone's investments are worth less than they were at the beginning of the year. There's not so much you can do but ride out the downturns. And of course, the larger your portfolio, the larger the losses. So kind of echoing what I was saying right now, the idea that what I think is just the hive mind of whatever Reddit's saying. So it's like, we don't have enough information to see how bad his mess up is. So the next reply is, this is true. My spouse and I are down way more than $120,000, and we don't do speculative investing at all, though I can't disagree with the original comment. So it's like, yeah, it's a 120K is so subjective. If I personally lost 120K, I'd be ruined. It'd be over. But maybe this guy's the 800K mark. So let's read on. Next post. Man, I think you're right, but you sure were mean about it. Are you sure you like this girl? How did this guy get 605 upvotes or whatever? He gave no insight as to the status of the relationship other than the fact that she berated him for losing all that money. So we don't know. But the next reply, or I don't know what that subreddit is, but next post. I'm going against the grain. You're the antagonist. You two live together, so her home and life is partially dependent on you keeping your finances healthy. Of course, it's going to be extremely concerning for her. An average person who doesn't make nearly as much as you, on that note, get off her back about the savings thing. It's harder than wealthy, even moderately so, people think. To hear that her partner lost what's 2 to 3 years of salary so quickly. If it was so bad you needed to be comforted, it's bad enough for her to be concerned and worried. Okay, good. So I'm glad we got some other ends of the spectrum here, in the sense that they do live together. I guess I kind of glazed over the idea they live together, so maybe she's incredibly worried, and the idea that he threw it back in her face saying, hey, you don't have near the amount of savings as me, so you can't judge me. So that's kind of messed up for him to get on the defensive and kind of throw it in the face. So maybe that's why her friends weren't calling him out, saying that he was the antagonist, not for the simple fact that he lost the money and came to her saying, I lost the money, but the simple fact that he was like, you know what? You don't make as much money as me. You can't tell me what to do. It's very pompous on his behalf. So, you know what? I guess I can kind of say decoy court was wrong due to, if we appealed that decision and moved up the chamber of decoy court, because this guy, this decoy defense over here saying it's because he said the whole savings thing. So yeah, he was the antagonist. So I'm reversing my decision. He's the antagonist because he was kind of being a jerk about it, and all the friends piling on him. Probably true, but let's read on. I think you're a little confused here. It sounds like he lost $120,000 due to the market taking a downturn, something that's completely out of his control. I put lost in quotes because he hasn't actually lost any money. His investment is just not worth as much as it was at the beginning of the year. At one point, my own investment portfolio was down about 20% of what it was worth at January 1st. It's not like OP wasted $120,000 on a sports car and then crashed it, or a business that failed over the first month. He has wisely invested his money, which most would say is a financially sound thing to do. Definitely not the antagonist. So I think this guy has the same perspective as I did in the very beginning, where it's like, hey, 120K losing, that's just part of the business. This guy is in the 6-figure range of investing, so I mean, that makes sense. Unless he was doing the speculative thing, where he's doing how do I make this where I don't sound like an idiot, where he's where essentially sometimes you can do investments where you only pay like 10% up front, and then you can gain the 100% of investment if it goes your way, but if it doesn't go your way, you're essentially on the hook for the whole 100% of the bet. It's kind of hard to explain, especially when I have such a weak grasp of it, but it's like, so if he was doing speculative investments and he didn't actually have the 120K, he just put down $12,000 thinking that he could like short the market or something, or buy the market, and he was wrong. Yeah, that's him being irresponsible. So if he was doing speculative investment, yeah, he was probably the antagonist because he lost a lot of money out of that they don't really have right now, or two, I think he was the antagonist because he like brought up her savings and the argument, essentially, not in the argument, the discussion, but it became an argument once he said, you don't make as much money as me, so you can't even say what I was thinking. So next top post, info. Was it made clear before the move-in how finances would be handled? Does your girlfriend know that you're financially comfortable after this $120K loss? I would personally feel pretty stressed if my live-in boyfriend told me this without any more context. And I'm guessing that they probably have more context. He was just for the sake of this post or whatever here. It doesn't have the entire information in it. But I mean, like I always say, I've kind of flip-flopped a little bit. So in your comment section down below, let me know what your knee-jerk reactions are before we go to the controversial comments. Because I think I was kind of wrong in the beginning, but getting more information, I kind of feel like I have a better grasp of it, but let's look at some controversial comments before we wrap this up. So the first controversial comment is, everyone sucks till you're the antagonist. You two sound like you're living together and are serious about one another, so you losing $120,000 is something that does affect her. Losing lots of money would mean she ends up having to pay your share of the bills as you aren't being very careful with money. I don't think she should have berated you, but you owe her a long talk about being more careful in the future. So I could see why it's a controversial reply, because it's not a long talk about him being more careful. It's a long talk about the intricacies of what it is to bet that much money in investments. Like every stock is down. Well, not every stock, but a lot of stocks are down. If you were invested in, I don't know, like a movie theater, you're in some trouble right now. So like, I mean, he probably couldn't have forecasted that. So it's like, you know, it's part of the game. You probably made a lot of money this way. You're going to lose a lot of money this way, but hopefully it's always trending on the way up. So it's a long conversation about not necessarily being careful, but about the nature of his business. And also, we probably don't have enough information as to how are the finances split up. Is he now going to be relying on her to pay the rent? So hard to say, but let's look at the next reply up here. He technically hasn't lost any money until they sell he sells his investment. Plus, this is his savings we're talking about. It's not like his loss is going to finally ruin him. And being more careful, what was he supposed to do to be able to predict we'd have a issue like we have right now? So it's, you know, yeah, that's why I think that he got it downvotes, because it was just the idea that it's like, you know, he should be more careful. It's kind of hard to say. So the next controversial post is, not the antagonist. She can't berate you for your money, living together or not. Y'all didn't discuss combining money, so she shouldn't be able to assume or anything. Girl, bye. If y'all get remarried, prenup. So I see that, well, that's a controversial reply because he's talking about prenup or projecting all this other stuff, saying bye or whatever. And that's the kind of thing that kind of irked me or whatever. Like, how could you be that financially irresponsible with our money? If it was just his savings and his investments and what he's doing, and she has a very loose grasp as to what happens in the economy with the downturn and everything, then why is she saying our money? I do understand why she'd be getting mad about it, and the thing that compounded was he was like throwing her savings in her face or whatever. So I do see this as being roots of a bigger issue. I'm going to go ahead and say in the final decoy court distinction is he is the antagonist for bringing up her savings, and that's probably the end of it. If that wasn't the key point for her to being mad at him, then yeah, they probably have more of a conversation to kind of get through, because, you know, finances are, what do they say, most business partnerships and marriages end by citing finances. But correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and if you like having 2 videos a day and all the other situations. You have more, you guys want to see Decaf come back on the video, I'd like to know. But this is just kind of the end of the channel right here. We're doing like the SNL kind of outro music right now. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for all my top commenters. Be sure to check decoynoise.com to kind of see how I'm going to congratulate everybody that's doing really well on the channel. And stick around to see the next episode over there. And like always, I appreciate you stopping by and also dropping those comments.